So, when you hear the word ethics, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it a big, heavy rule book? A long list of do's and don'ts? Well, what if I told you that ethics wasn't about following some external code, but about a personal journey? A journey of growing from the inside out. That's really the heart of Buddhist ethics, and that's what we're going to explore.
Right from the start, the Buddha didn't begin with a command. He started with a question. And it's such a personal, practical question, you know? This really sets the tone for everything. It's not about trying to please some distant god or just conforming to what society tells you. It's about you, looking at your own life, your own actions, and asking, hey, is this actually going to lead to real, lasting well-being for me and for the people around me?
And this really nails the core difference. On one side, you have the way most of us think about ethics. It's a set of external rules, a code that's mostly focused on what we're not supposed to do. But the Buddhist view, it flips that completely. It sees ethics as an internal process, a path of growth. The whole point isn't just to follow the rules, it's to actually become a more ethical person.
Okay, so how do we actually get beyond this idea of ethics just being a bunch of regulations? Let's dig into that a little deeper.
You see, the Buddha wasn't some abstract philosopher sitting in an ivory tower. He was an incredibly practical teacher. He was all about helping people live better, happier lives right here, right now. The goal was never to just check boxes on some moral to-do list. It was to cultivate a way of living where caring for the well-being of everyone, and that includes yourself, just becomes second nature. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. The Buddha didn't just hand down a bunch of rules for everybody to follow. The super detailed regulations you might have heard about, those were for monks and nuns. Think of it less like a set of laws and more like a professional code of conduct. It covered really practical stuff, like how to wear your robe or what noises to avoid when you're eating. Even the famous Eightfold Path, it's not a list of commandments. It's a guide, a support system for your own inner growth. Which brings us to this absolutely crucial idea. The connection between your spiritual journey and your ethical development is, well, they're basically inseparable. In fact, you could look at the entire Buddhist path as this path of ethical maturation. Spiritual growth and ethical growth are completely intertwined. They're two sides of the very same coin. As you become more mindful and aware, you just naturally become more ethical. And as your actions become more ethical, your mind gets clearer and more settled, which in turn fuels your spiritual progress. It's this beautiful reinforcing cycle. So, if it's a journey of maturation, then it's got to have stages, right? It's not a switch you flip. It's a process. It's an evolution in how we see and relate to the world. So let's ask that question head-on. How does our relationship with ethics actually change as we grow on this path? Well, it turns out there's this really fascinating four-stage progression. So let's break this down. At the very beginning, we're often rule-based. We're motivated by a sense of duty. We do the right thing because, well, we feel like we're supposed to. But then we mature into a more utilitarian stage. We start to realize, hey, when I act ethically, I'm actually happier. My mind is more at peace. Our motivation shifts to our own well-being. From there, we can grow into a virtue-based stage. Now our actions come from a place of genuine compassion and kindness. It's not a calculation anymore, it's just a natural response from the heart. And finally, the ultimate stage, liberation ethics. This is where those unethical tendencies have just dissolved, and virtues like compassion just flow out freely, without any effort. And that final stage, that's really the whole point of the journey. It's about developing a true, unshakable inner compass. So what exactly is this liberation ethics? It's a state where the deep-seated tendencies toward greed, hatred, and confusion have been completely uprooted. And this creates what the texts call an empty space, an awareness that's free from all that grasping and clinging. It's through this clear space that virtues like compassion and generosity can just flow, totally unimpeded. It's not about trying to be good anymore, it's a state where goodness just naturally arises through you. And this, right here, is the heart of it all. For someone who's really mature on this path, ethics isn't about looking up the answer in a rulebook. It bubbles up from within. Through practice, you develop this incredibly sharp ethical sensibility, this wisdom that lets you see clearly what's helpful and what's harmful in any given moment. But where does that all come from? You might think it's based on some complex, high-minded philosophical principle, but the truth is, this entire journey, this whole path of maturation, is built on just one thing. One simple, fundamental, and deeply human quality. Our natural, built-in ability to care for one another. That's the seed. That's the starting point for everything. And so, to wrap this up, we're going to turn the Buddha's very practical approach right back to you. Because this isn't just theory, right? It's a living question. So take a second and really reflect on it. What is your deepest source for acting ethically? Is it that sense of duty? Is it for your own happiness and well-being? Or is it something deeper, like a sense of compassion? The answer might just show you where you are on this incredible journey of growth, from the inside out.